Hello everybody, welcome back to tailor-made scale modeling. It's the middle of the summer. It's beautiful outside and hopefully you do spend as much time outside as I do. And it is quite normal, I think, for the middle of the summer to reduce the activities around the workbench just a little bit to be able to get the best of the summer. But anyway, since there are no projects on the table right now, it is time to turn the attention to a little bit of making reviews. There's a lot of stuff that has gathered ever since I did my last review, and one of those is the Pzkpfw.II in the VK16.01 experimental how to say that version. This is the trusty Pzkpfw.II pressed into the role of the reconnaissance tank, and with the age of the vehicle, considering it was necessary to up armor this one, and so this pretty small tank rose to an impressive weight of 18 tons by just adding armor to it, and consequently it was getting slower, so probably this cannot be considered to be a very successful design. I think about 16 of those were produced eventually and they saw service on the Eastern Front, but many of you know that the Pzkpfw.II had a lot of varieties in other functions. Now let us take a look at the Hobby Boss kit, and for that I will turn the camera around so you can have a good look inside of the box. I have built a few Hobby Boss kits in the past, and I have to say that I'm a big fan of this company. Usually they offer a very decent price with a very good quality inside of the box, with everything you basically need to make a very decent model. As usual, the Hobby Boss kit comes in a very sturdy box. It is a top opening box, which many of you like best. There are few graphics given of the vehicle and a short history, while the sides of the box are pretty much regular. You can see there is another section for the Chinese text, and it's showing you as well a topside view of the vehicle and the photo etch that is included in the kit. Now, upon opening the box, which is nice and sturdy, really, I mean, this is not really breaking very easily. Here is the contents. As we have come accustomed to, there is a sheet of advertisement on top of all the goods inside, giving you a good view of the items that are yet to come. There's the paperwork that I will turn to last in my review, and you can see everything is very nicely packed, with mostly 2 sprues to every bag, and that is very consequently done mostly. There's even a few that are individually packed, which is pretty nice. Even though I have personally never had any problems with the scratched up parts, really, I think this is something that gives you a good feeling when you see everything is individually packed, as well as here at the top and the top of the vehicle, and the special items such as the decal sheet, a piece of rope, some clear parts, and the photo etch parts. But now let's put it all aside and get everything out of the box here, and let's have a look at the parts individually. There you go. Okay. 2 sprues of tracks, link and length. Many of you will like these. As I have told in my previous videos, I am not a big fan of these, but that's probably due to my incompetence. I have never managed to do these justice whatsoever. Taking a look at the parts here, I am very pleasantly surprised to see that there is no injection mark to be found anywhere, and I think this is the first time I'm seeing this. There's no injection mark on any of these individual links or even the length. This is everything is very nicely done. You can see that the guide horns, I don't know, probably need to go a little closer. You can see that the guide horns are actually hollow, which is nice, and they don't have to be attached individually. This is very, very nice work as far as I can tell. There's no flash that is worth mentioning. There are a couple of mold lines, of course, but these are of course necessary in the molding process, and they can hardly be avoided. As far as I can see, these will be going together pretty neatly. However, probably some experiences will be necessary to assemble them. As I told you, I don't have it, but probably this will be just the right thing to give it a try. Usually I go and escape through the Friol escape hatch. Next thing is the main body. It's well individually packed here very nicely. You can see these are excellently made parts. There's even detail on the bottom. And all seems to be pretty crisp. There's a little wrapping. This is just coming a little bit inside here, but that's not going to be a big problem, because with the one part upper deck, it's just going to be pushed back into the proper position, and you can already get a good idea about how big, or if you want to call it that, small the vehicle is going to be. There are no signs of texture to the surface of the body, and the escape hatches are closed. I do not know if they can be post open, but that would be certainly something to really enhance the item for presentation. I can see that there's weld seams on every one of these panels. This is very nicely and finely and crisply done. Let's see if we can show this up close. The camera allowing, I guess yes. You should be able to see it now. This is very convincing detail. This has been pre-cut from the tree already for you, and the connectors, they left enough of the connector actually to flawlessly sand these and give you a very nice front of the vehicle. The top plate shows fine hinge detail and welded seams for the added armor, especially here at the front. The part is not wrapped, it is very straight. There are of course a number of ejection marks here, but they're all on the inside, and this is again showing no texture of rolled steel or hammered steel or welded, or besides the weld line there is no structure on the surface. Going on to the next sprue, giving you the turret parts, mantlet, top, bottom, multi-part gun and machine gun in, again, very nice detail. Take a look at that. That is really, really nice and crisp. See this? I think this is a 37mm gun. It's complete with all the mechanisms. There are one-piece barrels. You can see here slide mold technology. Beautifully done, I think. And again, no texture, but very nicely represented welding lines all across the parts. Very good internal detail for this vehicle, even though I'm not sure yet if there is any more detail to the inside of this vehicle. But in general, this is giving me a very, very good feeling about the kit, and I certainly hope this will go on like this. Another sprue here, packed up in twos, rolled wheels, suspension, drive sprocket, and idler wheel. There's replacement tracks as well. The drive cover is nicely detailed with rivets all around. In the suspension parts here, they show a bit of a prominent seam line, molding seam line. That is of course difficult to avoid, especially in rounded parts, but otherwise there's nothing in the way of nasty injector pin marks or sink marks to be found anywhere. There is as on the rounded parts, there is a good line of molding line here on the wheels, on the road wheels. This is gonna take some cleaning up, but I think that is everything is within the limits of what is understood as necessary. Alright, next sprue. Getting back to body parts here. These are fenders, pretty wide as you see. I'm quite surprised really how wide they are in relation to the vehicle, but I think this will make up a very important part of the very specific look of the vehicle. More parts of the running gear. There's vision ports for the driving compartment, left and right, complete with rivet detail. Vision slits are already open, which is nice. The fenders do show injection marks on the bottom, but these should be easily covered and mostly in places where you won't see too much of them anyways. You see in ejection marks on the back sides, but everything very restrained, and as far as I can tell, there are no sink marks anywhere, which is always a nice surprise. The antenna here does seem to be a bit on the thick side to me. I probably will have a look if I replace that with some steel wire. There's two more bags here. There's Here's engineering tools, and I'm having the peculiar feeling I have seen these in other kits, but they're actually really marked for this particular one. Here, have a look at these engineering tools. Sorry, should be turning these around. These are pretty nice. They're not probably not the best in the market, but these are very, very nicely done, and I think that replacement by resin or something like that will not be necessary. I like the fire extinguisher, which is very nice. Very fine detail here. Next part, there is a stowage box. There is a jack. Very typical early vehicle wood block back here. And this is with wood structure this time. Love that. Thank you very much, Hobby Boss. That is good. Pry bar, and yeah, and the closing mechanism for the jack stowage. It's very nice. They did that individually. Usually you'll find these attached to those many times, and that usually is just shouting out, buy a replacement, or something along the lines. There's another double set here. Not fully sure what these will be. Actually, there are eyes for the towing cable back here, and there is no towing cable as such. There's lights here and hooks, and probably these are the escape hatches. Oh, look at these. These are pretty nicely done. I do not know what to think of the towing cable that's supposed to be attached to the ice over there, but we'll definitely find out. There's no plastic injection mold line, so I reckon this piece of thread should be used. It does show a lot of lint. I don't know if that shows here in the picture real well, but that won't come off as a steel rope nicely. That certainly will need some replacement or some special treatment. I don't know if it's possible to flame the lint off. Let me have a try. No, it seems that I have no lighter around me, so what you can try is actually to pass this through a flame and try to get rid of the lint that is sticking out of the yarn here. Very nicely done. The photo etch set, let me have a look. Yes, it's relief etched. It's showing good detail, rivet detail, raised rivet detail. The mesh is up and down. This is real mesh. Can be seen here. This is very nicely done. I've seen this better in line rockets, but this is already quite convincing. There's small hooks and very nice. Everything is with folding lines on the back. I think this is very thick material. If this is anything like the trumpeter stuff I have recently worked with, this is a pain to work with because it's just too stiff. Just let me have a try if that bends. Oh, okay. I'm taking that back. It bends really, really easily. That is very good material. Maybe it's pre-annealed, but this bends way better than anything from trumpeter I have had in my hand lately. Okay, anything more to see here? No, just a little, have a little look at the At the decal sheet, of course, in tanks you can't expect 200 of them, but it's good to have some of them. And yeah, you have the usual assembly of, oops, taped on two sides. That is a very nice one. You have, hope this shows, unit markings and Balkenkreuze to your needs. Well, this is looking good. From my previous experience, these are working pretty nicely. Many times over I hear there's the decal sheet, it's very nice, but it's shiny. I don't know what the problem is with shiny decals. I mean, if you put decals on properly, you put down a layer of future, you put down the decal and the setting solution. Then you put another layer of future on top of it, and then you have the decal sealed inside the future, which protects them best against every outside condition. And then of course everything is shiny anyway, so you put a flat top coat on it and you're done. So shiny or not, I think it doesn't matter. If you do it properly, every decal will be doing nicely, especially the new ones. Of course there are older ones which have pretty thick material, but this seems to be sufficiently thin to hide it in 2 layers of future anyway. Alright, now paperwork. We have a small painting scheme sheet. It shows one version of the vehicle, which is consistent with the marking options, if you may say so. This is a normal Feldgrau that is used here. The paints are given in Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, Model Master, Tamiya, and Humbrol, and you will need the incredible number of 4 different paints according to the paint instruction here. Take a good look. Okay, now you know what paints to buy if you don't have them in your stash already. Okay, more paperwork. Book size, definitely smaller than A4, which is good. Stapled, love it. Of course, there's the usual hassle about what you cannot do with your kit. Cannot start a war with it, not gonna win. And there's the usual symbols. There's nothing spectacular about it. There's nothing you know the drill. Okay, here is a sprue map with numbers, which I like. Transparent parts, everything is shown here in good detail, and you see it's pretty nicely done. According to my experiences with Hobby Boss, there are very few mistakes to be found in here. Usually all the steps, all the working steps are showing all that has to be done in good detail, and there's no crowding of the graphics or anything, and that is something that the beginner and the advanced modeler will always appreciate. Good. As you can see, there is no interior to this vehicle, even though the gun and everything has a very nice representation on the inside, but you can't see anything else added to the inside of this vehicle. Here the added armor, everything very nicely shown with vision blocks and everything. There's transparent parts to be added to the front plate, but they do not allow to look inside, so probably painting the front part back would be a good idea to create the illusion of depth behind the window pane. Okay, here this is getting a little bit crowded. That is quite unusual for Hobby Boss. There's not too many parts being added, but you know, with showing the full tank every time, that is just a little bit confusing right there. You can see here there's nothing very ordinary, nothing special, no options or anything to consider. There is, as I have talked about, the combination of the rope and the eyes of the towing cable back here, which have to be arranged around some part here in the back. That will be not so easy to do, or not easy to make look good, but you know, gotta live with this surprise sometimes. But I still think that a copper towing cable from the aftermarket should be helping the trick. Okay, just very much to the end, there's the commander's cupola, and you can see the mantlet and gun set up here with the machine gun and the 3.7 centimeter gun, I guess it is, or is it a 2 centimeter? I don't know. I should find that out. And this is a very, very simple construction of the turret. There are no clear parts to the vision blocks of the command cupola, and I think this doesn't even give you an option for showing the cupola open. That is a bit of a disappointment. I think that is a minimum requirement. I think that we should be able to show the tank as shown on the front here. I'm not sure. I will have to find out if the D9 cupola, D9. This is C. Part D. What is part D? B. There's the cupola. Well, there is internal detail to the hatch, but there are ejection marks on the inside. These will need to be covered, and as far as I can see, there are no provisions to show this open. That would be the first actual minus to this kit. Okay. However, you know, I have received this as a prize gift, and of course I have taken a look on the internet about the price, and I think with everything you get from Hobby Boss, you get a very, very good price value. Even if you don't buy them on a special occasion, the regular shelf price, I think, is already good for a kit of that complexity and the casting quality. And as far as my experience go, these go together pretty easily. This should be a fun build. Of course, my recent experience with Trumpeter gave me exactly the opposite in experience. It was looking superbly excellent in the box, and it was a bit to assemble. Okay, gentlemen, this is it. I have to say thank you to Carlos again for putting out this lottery for his 200 subscriber. Being the lucky one to win it is always a great thing, and thank you again. See you soon here at TaylorMade Scale Modeling. Take care and build a model. Bye bye.